All right, everybody, it's Joey here with Dixie Doggers TV coming at you. In case you notice stuff's a little bit different here, we're in a different area, different place. It's probably going to have a little different sound and stuff for right now. We still got a lot of echo in here, but we've made a pretty good purchase in the past couple weeks. We've acquired a pretty good sized building. We're opening up a store. We've got a storefront, actual brick and mortar store. We have a new studio right here. We're in the process of building office space. We're going to have retail space. We've got a full shop in the back, like roll up doors, pull in. We'll build you whatever you need built. Have all our stuff for trapping. Anything to do with hogs and dogs, it'll be here. It's already here. We just got to get it open. August 6th is when we're going to kick it off. We've got a lot to do before then, so y'all just stay tuned. And I'll get more in that here in a little bit. This episode we're going to talk about some of our dogs. I know we've talked about dogs and stuff before. The majority of dogs that we run are going to be York Terriers. They might not be full-blooded York Terriers, and you're going to hear me call them York Terriers, Jags, whatever. I'm going to call them everything. Most people do. The correct pronunciation, as far as I know, is Yak Terrier. We also run a lot of stuff, a lot of Airedales, full-blooded, and there'll be crosses. We talked about the hybrid stuff. That's what we like. We're going to get into a little bit on the bloodlines too, and why we've stuck with the same thing since 2008, somewhere in there. I think that's when I got them. 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. Wound up getting my first Jags were from Britt Maggie or McGee. I think it's pronounced Maggie. I'm pretty sure James Mills. He had some phenomenal dogs over the years, and he's still producing the greatest York Terriers that's out, as far as I'm concerned. And honestly, I've never really had a whole bunch of Mr. James's dogs. He breeds true to the standard, smaller whole dogs. And they got a ton of grit and drive. And I have seen some pretty good sized dogs that he's acquired. Not everybody uses the York Terriers the way they should be used. These dogs, when they first started really making the rounds on the internet and YouTube, places like that, people just seen a crazy ass little dog that would go in there and catch a grizzly bear or whatever. There was no fear. So the first thing they wanted to do was just grab a little pocket rocket. Man, it was so hard for me to find pups when I got the first two. It literally was hard. And they were not cheap. Now, and this has really just happened in the last 6 to 8 years, I guess, probably. It's just, hell, you can find them all over the place, $200. But it's also, that's what you get what you pay for. You take a dog, and you can get a dog for free that's, as good as anything ever. But most of the time, those dogs are going to have health issues. They're not bred properly. They don't even know how they're actually bred. So don't fall into that just because you want one. People get one and they want to dump one Jag out with a group of cur dogs or hounds or whatever, and then they piss and moan because they're like, well, they don't break a bay. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Maybe not every time, but if I drop one little lunatic in a group of 20 other just calm things that are doing their job, that lunatic's going to mess it all up. every time. So the way we do it, and Clay Austin, he's the guy that I first started hunting with that had the Yog Terriers. Him, Jeremy Gilliland. There's a couple other guys. They had some Jags too. But Clay, he was the one that I hunted with the most. And the way he would do, like we road hunted we had some big properties, and we would road hunt quite a bit. He would put 1 or 2 dogs down. Aaron Schenkel's another guy. Val Hank Rook on Facebook. He might not want me telling everybody, that guy could be running. You don't ever know about him. You got to watch that guy. Aaron Schenkel is a very, very intelligent guy. He is one of the best dog men that I've ever seen, period, hands down. He knows his shit. Serious. But like I said, we hunted together. Clay had Otto and Pork Chop. Pork Chop was still really young. Otto was a little bit older dog. He was pretty seasoned and settled in. We put them on the ground, and they just stayed like about 100 yards in front of the truck or the buggy, 4-wheeler, whatever we were riding. They just clicked right on along, and then every now and then they throw that head around. We'd stop, and they would go. We caught anything from pig that big to pigs we couldn't haul, we couldn't tote. I mean, it's the truth. We caught some big hogs with just little dogs. So I kind of fell in love with them, and I said, this is what I want to get. Well, that bloodline was a little bit bigger than most of the other ones I'd seen. The ones Aaron had were a little smaller, and they were they were built like little tanks, man, and they were some bad they were badasses. Well, and I don't know all the bloodlines that Aaron had. There used to be a dog that was on the internet, it's all like on Google, whatever, and there was 2 of them, Kill and Crow. Man, the picture of these 2 dogs, it was unreal. Just, they looked that good. Well, one day I went up to Clay's house, and I was looking at a dog he had, and I seen that dog in the kennel. I said, "Oh my gosh, man, that sumbitch looks good." I kept looking. I said, "Dude, he looks just like that damn dog Crow." Clay said, "It is." Somehow, Aaron and himself, or Aaron, or both of them, I don't know, they had acquired him for a period of time, and I knew then. I was like, Schenkel Gun Dog ain't no joke about these dogs now. This guy, he's the one that got me really into doing the whole crossing stuff. He wasn't scared to breed anything to anything. It did not matter. Like Drots, some of the most beautiful, functioning, working, wire-haired pointers you ever seen. Shit, he hang a game dog on that ass like it wasn't nothing. Come out with some vicious hog-killing dogs, hog stoppers. 9, 10 months old, no problem. They go do it. They could handle the heat. They had a good nose. They had drive, grit, stamina, determination. Hell of a bite. I mean, tough pad, long, toothed some bitches is what they was. Bad. So I knew then, I was like, these are the right guys for me to be in here with. But I went outside that circle, and I got me a couple of dogs. Because they didn't have any pups or anything during that time, and I really wanted some. So I done what most people would do. I found some. And the guy that I got them from is not just some backyard breeder. He has had a line of dogs. And as far as I know, I think they still produce dogs. I haven't been in contact with him in a long time. Like I said, I got 2 of them. They were named Dutch and Drago. Their parents were Laser and Gabby. All right. Laser was out of James Mills stock. I'm pretty sure. Because I know he had another dog. There was 2 Lasers. There was Laser Otsuche, and he lived to be quite an old dog, 14, 15 years old. Then there was another one, it was Strong Rivers Laser. And I think everything from that area, which would be southeast Mississippi, was all Strong River. Strong River Dale, Strong River Lazy, or Laser, not Lazy. It's Strong River Jesse and Gabby. Those were the ones that I knew of. That whichever was, I ain't no telling how many, but they produced good dogs. And when I got those 2 dogs, they were right at 4 months old. Not quite 4 months old. And let me tell you, it changed my whole life. I'd always been around American Pit Bull Terriers, game dogs, whatever people want to call them. They were just dogs that, we were raised with, and they were a functioning working dog, very high prey drive. They were just high strung, very well driven dogs. My grandfather bred and raised dogs. So did my dad and my uncle Frank Wright. I called him the Carpenter, and that's how he had a lot of his dogs registered. So, I knew dogs pretty good. But man, when I got those little dudes there, I was like, they weren't big as a minute. Well, so I'm watching YouTube, and this is back a long time ago, like I said, 2008 or something like that. Hell, I didn't even know what YouTube really was. We just starting with this stuff. Technology is, I don't know, me and technology don't get along. Getting better at it, but back then I definitely did. And I didn't even know how to turn on a computer. Still, I really don't now, but not very much. But so I started watching some videos, and I'd seen videos that Aaron had put up, and then some that a lot of stuff from, I guess it was some people that James Mills knew from Czech Republic, over in Germany, places like that. Those dudes test their dogs. They don't mess around. So I was watching them do the Badgers. They would put them in a tunnel and let that dog engage. See how long it took him to get through that tunnel. And he had to engage, and he had to stay locked up. They didn't want no hollering and whining and crying. You'd hear the dog screaming, but it's not from pain, by no means. This dog wants to go. So I actually called the guy and asked him what was wrong with those dogs, because they were doing that screaming. And he kind of laughed. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Do they not? Is something wrong with their throat?" One dog did it a lot worse than the other one. Dutch was phenomenal. He is what I set my standard on, and honestly, it's hard to top him. He was just a small, very small dog. Well, that son of a bitch was out there. I think I'd had him for a couple of weeks, and I had a possum. So we turned the possum loose, and I was like, we'll let them dogs mess with it, They were out there just screaming. And if any of y'all, a lot of people that hog hunt have been around Yog Terriers at some point in time, and that they're crazy and the way they act. So the scream I'm talking about. Now, that son of a bitch went to acting crazy. So we turned him loose. He goes over and grabs a possum. He's just shaking that. I'm talking about wearing it out. Now, keep in mind, both dogs combined are probably not the size of the possum. They get on each end, and it comes in half. It was like, wow, that's pretty stout. Well, so wait a little while. And like I said, now keep in mind, I was still green into a lot of this shit. And I shouldn't have even been messing with them at that age. They were too young. Well, I couldn't resist it. I waited a few more weeks and had a coon. Coons fight pretty good. Y'all know that. And this was a grown coon. So turned it loose, let the pups go. And honestly, it just made it worse. Those dogs, they performed. Not one of them ever backed up. Not one of them, they never whimpered, whined, or cried. They just went straight in. One was on the throat, one was at the back, pulled them apart, coon done. Quick, very quick. They were 4 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days old. And I knew then, I was like, I need to put these dogs up and let them mature a little bit. I think I made it till they were 7 months old. Then we took them hog hunting. And first time we ever carried them out, back then we could have live hogs. And we could actually do some training. I had trained with, done some mock hunts and stuff. They done what they were supposed to do, carried them hunting. We wound up catching a pig, very first outing with Dutch. He found his own hog, caught it. Went a couple times with Clay. Little dog hunted well with other dogs. Done great. Never had an issue with him. If I needed something done, Dutch would take care of it. So I stuck with that dog, and I mean, he hung with me till his last breath. Big old hog stepped on him, and just that was the end of it. It was a bad way to go, but he went out doing what he loved. So during this time, me and Clay, Aaron, Roger Wright, Dwayne, Brownie, whole group of us, we were hunting all the time. Clay knew how I felt about them little dogs. Well, I wound up getting one from him, and it was off of, no, let me back that up. Yeah, I wound up getting it from Roger, that little dog Dizzy. Roger got him as a puppy, and I wound up getting him from Roger. And it was off of Az in April. This is before James got Az, or about the time James got Az. I think it was the first breeding. No, you're right. Yeah, say, okay. Never mind. Guys, I messed that all up. Nate's right on that. Because we got 2 of them. That's right. Clay had called me and told me to Pistol and Twitch, because I give Twitch wind up down at the house, and then Pistol, Vice still has Pistol as far as I know. Okay, back it up. Dizzy was off of Smith and Bacon. All right. We'll get into that. The dog that Clay had was Otto, and then he had Pork Chop. Well, out of those 2 came a dog named Bacon. Bacon was the one that I was in love with. That was my dog. I liked Otto. Otto was phenomenal. Pork Chop, same way. Aaron had a dog named Hank at the time, and Taz, Hank and Taz, and them dudes were bad. Well, Clay started kind of getting out of the hog hunting stuff. Now, you got to keep in mind, this is over a several year stretch, quite a few years. Well, I wound up getting Bacon from him. And he also let me have a dog named Smith. Smith was an old Dixieland dog, which most of Clay's stuff was heavy bred Dixieland. Dixieland is a line that was, I don't know how many years it's been going, but Scott Alls, it was the one that had the Dixieland stuff. And they're a bigger Yog Terrier. You know how some people, it's like with the Bulldogs, anything like that. You got certain lines that tend to be smaller, some get a little bigger, whatever. Some might have longer hair, smoother coats, whatever. All right, well, this line, they tend to be on the larger side, but their functionality is dead on. They're a kind of taller, more lankier, like that's what I call them, spindly looking dog. As far as the jag part, we have several dogs that are in the mid 30s up to 40 pounds. Smith was a large dog. Bacon was pretty good size. She wasn't very little. She was low 30 pounder, which I mean, like I said, that's big for Jags. Well, so out of that, Bacon and Smith, there was a couple of breedings with that, and then there was Pork Chop and Kroll. When they had Kroll, that's what Dizzy was out of, Nate. It was Pork Chop and Kroll. Yeah, that because I wanted them pups, man. I was like, I gotta have one of them pup. Anyway, so I wound up getting that pup from Roger later on. And they called him Dizzy because he walked with his head cocked sideways. He done it ever since he was a little puppy. Like, we don't know what happened, but ever since he was a little puppy, he done that. He was a hard ass dog. I mean, hard. Most of these dogs were never going to bay anything. Bacon, Pork Chop, and Otto, sometimes they would bay on a big hog, but chances are they're going to grab a hold of it. You know, especially if there's more than one. They're definitely going to grab that son of a bitch. They're going to be tearing him up. So we kind of stuck with that. They were, like I said, mid 30 pounds is 30 to 35 pounds is common. That's pretty much every dog is going to be that big out of that stuff. And so over the years, everything that's on our yard now, for the past however many years that is, I don't know how many years, 14, 15 years, whatever, it's goes directly back to Bacon and Smith or Pork Chop and Otto. That's it. There's nothing else has come in or out as far as our breeding on our Yog Terriers. We have took those Jags and crossed them over Airedales. We took them, crossed them with bulls. There's been other crosses that were done. Clay's done them with several different breeds. Aaron's done them with a bunch of different breeds and made some damn good dogs. Like I said, as far as holding true, straight Yog Terriers, it's only been the Dixieland line for us. That's the whole Dixie Doggers deal. Every bit of that goes right back to that. I've talked to Scott Alls quite a few times, and last couple of times we talked, you know, I never did get crazy on registering dogs and all that shit. I seen some papers that I'd got from a guy, because I'd actually went back and acquired a few dogs that were bought from Clay when they were puppies. And I went back and bought those dogs from this guy, and he registered them as Dixieland also. And so I was like, well, man, if somebody's got a line of dogs and a kennel name, I don't think you should register your dogs the same way. So I never would do that. I talked with Scott, and Scott told me, he was like, man, look, he said, you kept the same dogs all these years. And this is, like I said, I had the best people come into my life that anybody could ever ask for, and started all this. That's the only reason I ever had anything, is because of somebody else. I can't take any kind of credit for it at all. I have people want me to give them a pup or sell them a pup, whatever. I can't really, because, I mean, number one, we're not dog breeders. We don't breed a bunch of litters up. I don't puppy mill. And when I do send them, I'm very picky on who gets anything. But I've never had one come back, knock on wood. And I've never had anybody that was not satisfied. You know, like I said, there's not very many people that's got them either, though. But Scott, he told me, he was like, look, you just take the name, and now you're the Dixieland Dogs. And I mean, that just made me, you know, I was like, wow. You know, now if Clay and these other guys were still into it the way they were 10 years ago, I would have never even been thought of. Those guys are real dog men. I'm just a guy that's got some dogs, you know. So it's one of those deals. I'm very thankful to have them. And out of that, we took, let's say we went back and bought Betty from Jason Sowell. Great dog, awesome dog. She produced quite a few I mean, phenomenal hunting dogs. I went back and bought Dagger. He was out of what dog is it? He's out of Bacon and Smith. Yep, he's out of Bacon and Smith, and he's a 10-year-old dog now. Then we had, which we bought Kiken, bought her, which is Dagger's daughter. Her mother is Roxy, which is a Dixieland dog from Keaton Temple. All right, and then I went and got Oscar. Oscar's Betty's brother, which goes right back to Bacon and Smith. You know what I'm saying? You got, and every puppy that we've had, I haven't had any full-blooded Yawg Terrier puppies in several years. After Bacon passed, I didn't really even want to have any more, because it was like she was a producer. And so I didn't want to take a chance in producing just shit. I wanted to produce good dogs. And so I'm watching my P's and Q's on that. I just don't like doing it. The Betty dog, we actually were going to get a litter off her. She died having puppies. So, like I said, we've got some older dogs that are still 100% top and bottom bred as Dixieland as you can get, as far back as you can go. So, I mean, we really need to breed some up, which we did. We should have a litter bred right now. We bred Oscar to Kiken, and that should be, I'm talking about, phenomenal. Then again, they probably won't do shit. Yeah, guys, y'all know how that turns out. You can take two champions, breed them, and get nothing. Or you can take two champions, you can get all champions, or half and half, whatever. So, but as far as ourselves, that's the bloodline. That's the Yawg Terriers that we run as far, on the full-blooded side of Yawg Terriers. But we also have them big old Airedales. Now, on the Airedales, it's a little more, I don't know. Airedales are used to be one of the hardest breeds, jam up meat dogs. That's what they were. You could use that dog to do anything, hunt, you could track, tree, trail, catch, whatever. And then they got, show folks got a hold of them. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've seen some show dogs that they'll work. We got a dog named King, and he's actually not a full-blooded Airedale, but, he looks close as full-blooded you can get. He's actually a hide terrier, which we'll get into that. And we carried him to a dog show, just cutting up and playing, and, man, I don't know, he won about 10 ribbons. I think it was 10 or 11 ribbons he won. Done pretty good. We were all laughing because we brushed him, had his show sheen on and all that. This dog ain't never done nothing but catch hogs. That's it. The name King, I got it because Airedales, there's all these different lines. And most people, when you talk to them, first thing they say is, "Oh, that's an Oorang dog. That's an old Oorang Airedale." Well, the Oorang, it was the King Oorang Airedale. That's where I got the name for him, was King. The dog was the King Oorang was not a dog's name. That was the kennel name. And this was back in the 1920s. Walter Lingo out of Ohio, he was breeding these dogs, and he's a puppy mill. They were performance dogs. These dogs were high performance. Warren G. Harding had one at the White House. You know what I'm saying? that's pretty good. Jim Thorpe actually had one from this kennel. The guy that owned the kennel, he started an NFL team called the Oorang Indians. Everything went good. That was in 1922 and 1923, those 2 seasons in the NFL. Well, everything was going pretty good till the Depression hit. And then during the Depression, right at the hit of the Depression, that's when the kennel, it dissolved itself. He put down over 300 puppies in 1929. So, that's why I say he was a puppy mill. The Oorang dogs were a bigger line of Airedale, kind of like with the Dixieland stuff. They were, the Roosevelt Terrier. That, that's, you're talking dogs 60, 70 pounds, even bigger. Like we had a damn male, and it goes back to the Oorang bloodlines, but it's not, they're not Oorang dogs. That was several generations ago, and there's been other stuff crossed in and out. So we have a lot of the Oorang blood, but it's not Oorang dogs. But like I said, we had one male. I don't know how big this dog was. He looked like an Irish wolfhound. We had, how big are those kennels, Nate? 10 by 10 by 6 foot tall? He would literally throw his feet right there and his head would be at the top of that kennel, at that door, top of that door. I mean, that's a big dog. Like I said, I never did weigh him. I don't know why the hell did we weigh that dog or measure him. Like he was taller than a stag hound and built like a tank. He had to be way over 100. I mean, I know he was over 100, but yeah, I'm going to say he was, and I know there's a lot of people like, oh, well, shit, whatever, but I'm just saying. And he was bred to a female. They all threw pretty good sized dogs because remember we had all those, we got those, some of those from Johanny Gomez, and they were big dogs. Every one of them. Mabel, hell, she's 70 something pounds at the house right now. I think last time when I weighed all of them out there in the shop, I wrote down, I want to say she was 71 pounds, and she was still young. That was when I first, right after I got Betty, I'd had Betty back for about a year. But the Airedale came from the dale next to the Ayr River between Scotland and England. That's where those dogs come from. They're Otterhound crossed with an Old English Sheepdog. Back to I got something in my eye. Otterhound, Old English Sheepdog, Black and Tan Terrier, and Bulldog. All mixed up. And then they took that breed, formulated it, kept breeding the same thing up. There you got your Airedales. I like them. If I was going to have just a companion dog, it'd be an Airedale. But the way they are now, you hear people say they're watered down. Some of them are. I probably would say most of them are. There's also a line out there called the Red Line Airedale. I've heard a lot of good. I've never had one. Devin Staker out in Colorado. I think he's got a few of them. Matt Tom is he's the guy that has most of them that I know. I don't know if is that his line? I need to research that too. I need to get with him and find out some more on that. I don't want to try to get into something that I don't even know. But those dogs, it looks like they don't have as rough a coat as a lot of the Airedales do that are here. So, but I think they're a little smaller too. But I like them, like I said. But when you take that some bitch and you cross him with a York Terrier, and you got to be careful because there's a big size difference. You know, I like to use the female Airedale and the male York Terrier. Of course, like I said, Oscar's 42 pounds. You take Oscar and you put him across a mid 60-pound Airedale, it's not that bad. It's not, now if it was the other way around, it'd be harder on the female, to me. I don't, everybody does things differently. But we've done those crosses, and then you can cross back with an English Bull Terrier, make a couple of breedings on that, and that's how you get the Hide Terrier. That breed has become a favorite very quickly. But it's also one of those deals. There were some outcrosses, like Irish Terrier was thrown in here and there. This breed was created in like 1973. And the guys that done it, they used 3 breeds. And that's how they done their stuff. 3, maybe 4. Like I said, they throw an Irish in there every now and then. All right. But there's people out here now, they're making an Airedale cross to a Bull Terrier. Actually, you don't see much Airedale at all. Most of it's Jag crossed with a Bull Terrier. And they're like, there's a Hide Terrier. I disagree. And I might catch some bullshit from it. I might catch shit from a lot of you guys out there that have these 50-50 crosses. That is nothing but a cross. That is a half and half dog. You know what I mean? That's like a bulldog and a Catahoula. That's not a Hide Terrier. That's a bull cat or a cat bull, a bulldog Catahoula. It's half this and half that. The Hide Terrier is a combination of 3 breeds. Now, of course, you can't breed all 3 of those dogs at the same time. So you got to make a Jag and Airedale cross, a Bull Terrier and Airedale or Jag cross, and then vice versa. It took us several years to get to the first Hide Terrier. And I might be doing it all wrong. I might be doing it all wrong. But I'm just saying what I call common sense. I'm not saying what works for me and what makes me feel better or what makes me sound better or look better. Because there's a lot of guys right now. I know several guys, and they are actual supposed to be dog men, but they're full of shit. They're going out here and taking a bird dog and adding this in, or a cur and doing that. Well, that's not doing a Hide Terrier. Don't screw it up. Look, I mean, it's just, get aggravated about it because you take people that put a lot of time and effort into doing something correctly. And I know there's 3 or 4 guys in the U.S. right now that have really put time and effort into doing this. And then you got 3 or 4 out there that are just making all these crosses. And I've done the same thing, but I'm not trying to pass them off as something they're not. I'm not trying to say, hey, this is a Hide Terrier. No, it's not. It's a cross. If I've got a Yog Terrier, if I take a Jag, cross it with the Airedale, that's a Jag Airedale cross. It's not a Hide Terrier. You got to have some bull in there somewhere. Not no bullshit, but a Bull Terrier. That's the hardest part. Take and look at that dog's head. It should have a triangular shape when it's looking at you dead on with its head down. But it should also, when you turn to the side, it should have that crown, not an egg head, but a crown in the skull as well. Almond-shaped eyes. It should have big teeth. I know a lot of times I say big toothes. It should have some big toothes, is what I'm saying. You get that from the Airedale part. Yog Terriers have big teeth, but that Airedale, that son of a bitch has some teeth. So when you do that correctly, and what you get out of that should be a phenomenal dog. I've never, knock on wood, and we've had a lot of them, but I haven't culled one yet. And that has nothing to do with me. That's just the dogs. And I don't have low standards. I've had people want to come watch them, just to come watch. Nobody's been disappointed. All right, so we got a guy from Michigan, friend of ours. He came down to come hunt with us. Old Mike Sapp. And he knows some other people. Knows another guy that has some hide terriers, and they're good dogs. They hunt coyotes and stuff like that. And he watched other hide terriers work. And somebody asked him one time, he said, what's the difference? And please don't take it like I'm bragging or nothing. It's not, that doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm just saying this is what's being produced. I don't have nothing to do with it. The dogs are doing it. All we do is feed some bitches. See, I mean, so what's the difference? He said, well, when I went with this guy, he sent some dogs out and they were out doing their thing. And then he turned the hide terriers loose and they went with them dogs. He said, when I went with Joey, he just turned the hides loose and they went hunting. There's no range on them that we found. And when I say no range, like they just go till they find some, that, and that's it. They're going to go till they find something. I guess last year we finally got them to start making loops or coming back to check in. And it took about, these are 7-year-old dogs, right? 6 or 7? 7. This be 7. So they're 7-year-old dogs and they're starting to come back and check in. So I'm kind of curious as to what they're going to produce on this next litter. Are they going to just keep going and go yonder? Or are they going to go and come back and check in sooner? Which the way we hunt, I would rather have a dog go out and hunt for a period of time or a range and then come check back in with me and then we can move and do it again. I'd rather have that sometimes. But look, as long as they ain't under my feet, I don't care. Can this dog, can this type of dog do it all? I don't know. They've done everything that we've asked them to do, but we don't do everything. I don't know. I have never worked cows with them or anything. There's a couple guys that got some from a friend of ours named Jason Leonard. And I mean, they work all different kinds of stuff with their dogs. I mean, so I'm sure this breed can do whatever you put it there. Like I said, I think a lot of that goes back to the Airedale. It's a multifunctional dog. It's got so many uses. But then again, like I said, it's also been watered down. You got to be very careful where you get them from. If I was going to try to get an Airedale now, I would be, man, I don't even know if I'd get one. I ain't gonna lie. But you'd have to be very picky, very selective. The Bull Terrier, that's another one. And it's the same way. People got them, started breeding them for looks, Spuds McKenzie dogs, stuff like that. They wanted that big egghead. That's not what we're after. I mean, they're going to have a crown and a big noggin. And we don't use minis. We don't use the small ones. I want a standard. I want a large Bull Terrier. I like the Bull Terrier because their actual bone density and structure. When you have a dog that has a good bite, he's got a lot of stamina, a lot of drive, and he has big bones. To me, that just makes the dog's overall performance level better. If you take a dog like the Dixieland dogs, their bones are small. They're not frail or fragile, but they have smaller, spindly legs than some of the other terriers that have like these little tree trunks, But they are faster, and they can get on down the road and cover some ground. So you got to give up something to get something. But when you cross them all up, the way that we're doing, and you get it to, it's not quite formulated because we'll change it up every now and then. But when you get in depth like that, you take that big bone structure and then you put it with the Airedale. Say you got that bull terrier bone structure and density. You put it with the Airedale and the height that you get from the Dale. And then you have the deeper chest, and I like the double coat. It helps so much with briars, stuff like that, and they stay cool. These dogs don't even, it's like, I mean, we run them and it's 100 degrees. And where we live at, I don't know, a lot of people listening, I don't know where all you guys live at, but here in central Alabama, it's hot. We don't have a lot of open areas where the wind can blow. So if it's 95 degrees, it's 110, really. And the humidity is outrageous. It's like we're inside a building right now and I'm sitting there sweating. We got 2 air conditioners running. It's ridiculous. And we run these dogs like that. And like I said, I'm not knocking any other dogs by no means, because we have several different breeds, but they outperform the other breeds, hands down. It's not even close. Like, I don't have to worry about picking them up. We got to pick some of the other breeds up because I don't want to heat stroke them. You know, I don't want to get too hot. But these right here will get down. They will get it. That's, you know, that's us. We're going to do some breedings, and I'm going to place a few with some other people in different parts of the country. And I've done this one time before. I want to do it again. And so if you're out there and you're listening and you hunt wild boar, if you hunt coons, if you hunt coyotes, badgers, fox, anything like that, holler at me and we might talk about something. Now, if you run deer dogs, we're not going to, these are not deer dogs at all. So, you know, they're going to have to be something that's clamped on. They're a different style dog. So if you guys want to see it for yourself, we're going to get some videos of these dogs hustling and let you check them out, see what you think about them. Like I said, I'm not saying they're the answer to everything by no means at all, but I'm saying that they work damn good for what we do. And I'm happy with them. I guarantee you there's probably 80% or more of the population that hunt that y'all probably wouldn't even like these damn dogs. So, to each his own. Like I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong either way, but I just wanted to kind of let y'all know what we're doing, what we're running. I get a lot of questions about the Yog Terriers, the Jags, and the Bloodlines. We're gonna get into some more stuff about Bloodlines on another episode, and I'm gonna bring another guest or two in with me, and we're basically have a discussion about some Bloodlines, and it might not be Jags. I know there's a lot of them, but there's also a lot of people that don't run them. There's in the Yog Terrier world, though, I do want to say thank you. Not just the Yog Terrier world, in the terrier world, period. I want to say thank you to James Mills. James has done a tremendous amount for anybody with Yog Terriers. Jay Wolin, same way. They have contributed so much. It's unreal. The lines that they run, that's the best. It is. Huh? Oh, I got a whole line, whole list. Nate's trying to talk about old Johnny Broadhurst on this. That guy right there, he wrote the book Terrier and Terrier Men. I've looked at the book quite a few times. It's awesome. Johnny is awesome. We've met him a couple times. He's a wealth of knowledge. He knows so much stuff, about dogs. And he is not shy to tell you if you need to cull that damn dog or not. I promise you. He's the man. Like I said, those guys, Richard Reynolds, He's known worldwide. He's been on like National Geographic documentaries. He's the guy that has been on TV quite a few times about catching the rats with terriers in New York. I mean, it's awesome. And I think he does a lot of stuff in New Jersey, different places like that. I would love to go hang out with him. I'd love to go up there and catch some rats. I know it'd be totally different than catching pigs. Joe Deal would love to get in that rat catching. Joe wants to get in there with gloves, no dog. He wants to grab rats. He loves rats. Joe Deal's a rat guy. A few more people. Our whole association, AHTA, the American Hunt Terrier Association, I've been doing this stuff now for close to a year, and I haven't mentioned them very much. And it's not that I don't want to talk about it or none of that. I've got so many things going on. I'm not putting you guys on the back burner by no means. I will always have these little dogs. These little dogs will always be a part of my life. And I hope that you guys are always a part of our life. There's a multitude of people that make that thing go round. We have these field trial events. If you haven't been to one, you need to check them out. If you have terriers, you need to check them out. Some of them are only open to Yog terriers as far as the competition and competing. But then you can also bring other terriers to the event and you can run them, but it's just, it doesn't count to our club, You got dozens of different breeds of terriers out there. So if you own one, look up some of these guys on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, any kind of social media. You got Jake Babb, Lance Criswell, Jason Schweitzer. God Almighty, there's so many names, and I know all of them. I can't even think of them. Ryan Goodman, Corey Bricker. That's the Patterdale guys. Larry Griffith, Paul Greenwood, Will Sims. I know there's a million that I'm forgetting right now. Eddie Jellum, I just met Eddie not long ago. He's got a big jag named Bob. Pretty cool dog. I like him. Keith Ferguson. I don't really like Keith that much, but I mean, he's got a good dog. He's pretty cool. Keith doesn't think I'm very nice, but whatever. I think I'm nice as I won't get to Keith till we meet again, Keith. So you got all these people that make our association go around, and there's too many times that people are not noticed or think that they're not noticed. And so, we want to say thank you from me, my family, my crew. We appreciate all you guys for all the stuff that you do and let us come out and compete and do these things. Because without y'all, I mean, like we wouldn't even really have a place to do most of this except in the backyard. And that's pretty much what it feels like at our trials that we do with the terrier people. It's pretty much like you're in the backyard with a big family. It's like you got invited to the cookout. So, all right. So we're gonna end this one with that. If I forgot to say your name, please do not think that I did it on purpose. David Williams, I know you were thinking that, didn't you? I know you did. You just thought I was going to forget old Fabio. No way. And that hair? No way. So we're going to have an event in October at the Boars Nest, Tyler, Texas. You need to come check it out. You don't have to have a dog. You can come watch, come hang out, check it out. It's a small fee to come in and check it out, and you don't have to pay a lot of money to run the events. It's cool. Like I said, it's a very economical thing. And right now, with the economy we have, you need to save all the money you can save. Now, for all you other people out there that are ready to spend some money, you need to mark your calendar, July 23rd. You need to be in Downsville, Louisiana, because we got the 2-Dog World Cup, hogbaying.com, with Jake Lacano and that group of fellas down there, our guys and girls. It's coming up, and it's going to be a big event. It's a one-night show. Bring a pair of dogs, bring your dog, or bring 10 dogs. It doesn't matter. $300 to run them. All right, you got, for every entry, you also get a free run that you draw. So if you have a good dog and you go up there and you run, or say you draw, what if you draw that? What if you draw Goose? That's going to be your partner. It's not a bad deal. That levels the playing field out a lot. I've seen a lot of people comment on it, and they think that the winner will be two dogs that's never run together. I kind of feel the same way myself. I think that it's going to really be like an upset, because it's probably going to be a dog that's just on the verge of being great, and then he gets to run with a great dog, and then it's going to work. I think that's what's going to happen myself. So y'all make sure to check that out. You can get on Facebook, Instagram, any of that stuff. Any social media stuff, look up Uncle Earl's, hogbaying.com. You got to support this stuff if you run dogs. If you're a dog lover, if you hunt, let's keep this stuff going, because we're losing ground every day. Mississippi just had a bill passed. What was it, Nate? Last week? I think it was last week, to where they're losing ground on they can't transport a live hog. Used to, you could get a transport permit, and as long as you had a place that was, within their restrictions, you could put that hog and keep it there to feed it out or to butcher or whatever. Well, now they're taking that away. It's not taken away just yet, but we're losing ground. We got to stick together, dog people. Dog hunters, don't matter what you run. Instead of running your mouth, let's run our damn minds together. We need to figure something out. And you guys got any ideas on how we can do this to all come together? Let's do something. Let's make it happen. So to all you dog people out there, the dog hunters, just try to support each other all you can. I know it's hard, because you see a lot of dumbasses. Even though they own dogs, there's some dumbasses. Yeah, go figure. But we also got a new schedule for our stuff. Instead of doing a podcast maybe twice a month, we're going to start doing it every week. All right, we're going to upload on Mondays, 5 a.m. And then every other Wednesday, we're going to do a blog or vlog at 5 a.m. be uploaded. And what that's going to be is just a short article or a video, some kind of information, maybe just a useful tip or a DIY thing. It doesn't necessarily even have to be about just a dog. It can be anything. And we're going to incorporate that every other Friday at 3 o'clock in the evening. We're going to upload a hunting video of some kind. It might be armadillo digging. It could be possum pounding. You never know. But it's going to be something. Every other Friday, 3 p.m. All right. We're going to open the store. We are a full dog supply now. I don't know how in the hell Nathan talked me into this stuff. And then I guess Joe Dill was over in the corner saying, Nate, tell him this. Now let's do this. Come on, he's got some money. Let's just get it. That's all it comes down to. So August the 6th, we're going to be open. And then we will have the online, all the stuff that we have in the store will be online also. So we'll be open for online sales at, just on our website, www.dixiedoggers, www. whatever. Dixie Doggers is all you got to do. Put it in there and go buy some stuff from the store. So that way I don't have to keep all this stuff. I'm getting it for y'all anyway. We're going to be carrying Southern Cross So if you need any Southern Cross supplies, make sure that you let us know. We will ship it to you, or I will deliver it to you within a reasonable distance. Medical supplies. I mean, we got where we're sitting at right now, I'm looking right over there, and there's boxes that's full of all this stuff that we got to get off our ass and get it put in the store. We're working on it. Like I said, we've had walls. We've got a lot of construction going on, painting, a bunch of stuff like that. We're winding it down. Won't be much longer. We got 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll be ready. Though we'll open up. We're going to have some trapping stuff for hogs available. Some of that stuff's going to be pretty expensive on shipping, so you might want to get with me. Me or Nate or Joe. All you got to do is just shoot us a message if you need a certain kind of gate or whatever. We got some of the pig brig stuff too. We're going to have some videos on that. Setup video, the whole setup, catch, kill, clean, cook. We're going to do the whole damn thing because we got to just make content is what I got to do is what Nathan told me. So I got to do what he tells me to do so that way we can keep this thing rolling so y'all can listen to me ramble on for an hour and a half every week. Ha ha. Now you got to deal with it. And then we're also going to be slanging that good Showtime dog feed, baby. You got it. Showtime. That's where it's at. Nothing else is better. I don't care. Sorry. So we got a train fixing to come by right here at this place, and it's probably going to shake the walls. Little does it know, we're rolling down the tracks too, baby. So until next time, we will holler at y'all, and y'all keep your dogs on the ground. Keep the hounds on the ground and your ass off the couch. And we out.